So here we are in the Sea of Thieves, trying to ignore the fact that from a story perspective the entire world's at war, still thinking that people like Pendragon can put a stop to it, mindlessly roaming around fighting fort towers, smiting skeletons, killing the Sea Queen for the 8th time, but we're somewhat blind to what is actually happening around us. Hey you beautiful Buccaneers, Falcore here. You see, the reason I say this is because we are actually at war. You might not think it at this moment, but two predominant powers are rising up in the Sea of Thieves: Athena's fortune and Reaper's bones. Both of them have different ideology of what the pirate's life is supposed to be. They both promote freedom, but neither are actually good. The Pirate Lord promoting freedom as long as you abide by a certain set of rules and of course pay your taxes, but paying your taxes and following the rules doesn't necessarily guarantee protection. You can still get slaughtered by anyone, and the Pirate Lord will continue to sit in his chair doing nothing apart from killing the Siren Queen. And then you have Flameheart. He offers an eternal reward for following him and offers true freedom to burn your way through the Sea of Thieves, as long as you acknowledge him as king and follow his orders. Neither side are good nor bad. They are both grey areas. Neither of them want you to follow your own path or set your own course. They want you under their belt and working for or with them. But here's the thing. In this pointless stretch for power that both sides are trying to rise toward, they're often bending the rules, making changes to their usual morals, and upsetting the very fabric of the lands and the lands beyond. What am I talking about? Well, there are two other factions in this game, the Dark Brethren and the Ancients, both who now dwell in the Sea of the Damned. The Dark Brethren are in fact a very neutral faction, in essence. They just want to be left alone, and although they have attacked on many occasions, their agenda is essentially the eradication of those who wish to remove them, that being Athena's fortune, Reaper's bones, and the trading companies. They don't actually want to take over, they just want a clean slate. And then you have the Ancients, which have only recently surfaced, who live in a land within the Sea of the Damned called the Sea of Tribute, a place we have yet to see in Sea of Thieves. And yes, those keen-eyed people may recognize this place. Look, I had to use World of Warcraft footage, okay? Until the developers give us tools to use in-game assets and models for our own use, like practically every other game out there, I have to utilize other means. So here you go, Blizzard, free advertisement. The Sea of Tribute holds a land filled with the Ancients' most powerful weapons and most powerful people, one of which is the Great Warrior, who we recently resurrected thanks to Bell and friends. Not much is known about this ancient, but we know that he had otherworldly powers and was seen as a demigod to his people. The Sea of Tribute is a literal paradise for the Ancients, held together by their own thoughts and aspirations, a true eternal afterlife enjoyed by the living. But it is sustained only by the powers and the flames of fate that hold the Sea of the Damned together. Currently in Sea of Thieves, the Ancients have essentially allied with Athena's fortune and are fighting the good fight. But not because they're good, but because, like the Reapers, and like Athena, they too have their own idea of freedom. The actions within the Sea of Thieves from Flameheart and the Pirate Lord are essentially disrupting the very essence of the Sea of the Damned, and they fight for their home, not for us. The disruption of the Sea of Thieves means a disruption to their home, and if anyone was to meddle with the powers within the Sea of the Damned, things could turn in a very different direction. You see, right now we see things as black and white, Reapers versus Athena. Both Reapers and Athena are meddling with things within the Sea of the Damned to help them rise to power. The Pirate Lord locating the Veil of the Ancients and receiving its power, but only to stop the rise of Flameheart and his powers also disrupting the Sea of the Damned. Both Reaper and Athena are both fighting to take control of the land of the living, but in the process disrupting the very nature of the Sea of the Damned. And I believe there will come a time where the Ancients, or more so, the Great Warrior, will decide enough is enough, and determine that the true problem within the Sea of Thieves is the pirates and all those who dwell within it. In order to keep their paradise safe, they would have to eradicate all signs of human life within the Sea of Thieves. Essentially, the Ancients will become the biggest threat on the seas. So what does this mean for Sea of Thieves? Well, like the old saying goes, The enemy of my enemy is my friend. With an onslaught from the Ancients and their new agenda, their powers would be unrivaled, and the petty squabbling between the Pirate Lord and Flameheart's forces would come to an end, at least for a while, to take on a greater foe. We could potentially see the forces of Flameheart and Athena create an alignment and strike back as one force against a new threat. But the Ancients could potentially have some assistance, the Dark Brethren, who at this point would share a pretty close agenda to the Ancients and would love to see their plans come into fruition. And there will come a time in the Sea of Thieves where the Reaper's might and the Athena's glory would fight side by side to take on the forces of the Sea of the Damned. The Dark Brethren, the great warrior of the Ancients and their envoy, versus us, a new pirate force, united under one banner, both flame and glory, setting sail together as friends to take on a new threat. Now, all of this sounds really cool, huh? Definitely something you'll want to see in the game? Well, none of this will happen if Pendragon wins. And that's propaganda.